Alrighty, Doc here. Sorry about that. I'm getting hit with all kinds of messages from all kinds of directions. It's amazing. Anyhow, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Let's see what we got going on here. There's the dollar index. You can see that. You can see the dollar index is... Where's that at? Right there. You can see we're lifting up a little bit. Like I said yesterday, it's a dead cat bounce. They're going to do a little bouncing here. I mean, someone's got to take profit sometime. Smart investors usually do. And so that makes total sense to me to see it backing off. And basically what it really comes down to is that, the way it, let me lower this volume too. The way it's been playing out is that, it's the summer months. This is kind of a dead time of the year. And, and that's a perfect reason right there alone for to not take any of this stuff too serious. And that's what a dead cat bounce basically is. It's not like you want to get heavily invested in it. We've already given you the direction. We've been saying for weeks, it's breaking down. We made it very clear it was going to break the century mark now, and it did. That type of thing. And so that's really what's going on here. I mean, there's no other way of describing it, and that is that it is breaking down in the sense that inflation is not under control. It could do a bounce. There's definitely a strong opinion that we're going to see a bounce in in the inflation. There's no doubt about that. We expect that. But what we're really thinking is that we're going to, let's see, not that one. I'm checking out these texts I'm getting. And let's see, what's that one? 3 people. Who's the 3 people here? So then, and there's Ron. Okay, good. 225. Me 20 minutes ago. There we go. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now, from there, so yeah, what it comes down to is that it's the doldrum summer months. Inflation's in the 5s and the 7s and all this other stuff, right around there, depending on how you're calculating it. You can calculate it easy. Go into the store and try to purchase something, and you know how much more it is this month than it was 6 months ago or a year ago. It's still going up in price. It's just that it's going up in price slower. That's the worst part. If only the media would say that clearly. It's going up slower. Not that it's going down. It's not going down. Inflation, things are getting more expensive because of the inflation. The problem is that it's not going up as fast as it was in the first 2 years of Mr. Biden's administration. That's all it is. It's nothing. It's no magic. There's no rocket science there. It really isn't. So anyhow, from there, let's take a look at on J4X, and let's take a peek at what the dollar index looks like over there. And there it is right there. And as you can see, it's been trying to dead cat bounce off that low. We went into the buy there for the daily. But we're in a weekly sell. We've been in a weekly sell since literally somewhere's around, I guess, no, that's it. That's where we went in the weekly sell, right in this area in here. Right in here. We went, that week we went into the weekly sell, right up in here, and then they crushed it. What was that? That was a Monday? Was that a Monday? Yeah, that was the Monday. No, that was the Tuesday. Something like that. They crushed it on a Wednesday or something like that. So, it's no surprise of the action we're seeing. Let me answer this one. Bolin. There we are. All right. So from there, you see this little dead cat bounce, nothing more than that. And let's drift over to the next currency. I've already seen strength coming into the euro this morning. Let's put it up over there. Hey, at least they're not. There's the Turkish lira. At least they're not making another all-time high today. All right, and there you go. You can see there. It's just the euro was up at one point this morning. You can see there was a high there. And so that's the weakness there. And you can see that you can see that slow, leaky attitude, I guess you could say. You can see that they didn't go after yesterday's high, but they got pretty close, and that is the action. Okay, I'm reading this. There we go. Let me just answer this one now. Boy, we're getting pulled in every direction. Paste that in. Let me just answer this one more time. Let me just answer that. I'm getting hit by like 5 different texts. There we go. All right, there we go. So let me put the euro up on J4X. I don't see anybody asking any questions. It's so quiet this year, or these last couple of weeks. It's the summer months, and people are just kind of drifting in and out. We saw Benny for the first time. Benny got, I don't know, he took his tricycle and tried to slam it into somebody, or I don't know. He had to try something. I'm not sure if it's a tri-motor device, tri-bicycle device, but he hit a vehicle. And he was laid up for a little bit. I had a friend that was riding her bike, and she was laid up for 6 months, and she was a great athlete. Oh my God, that really hurt her. Ugh. You know what I mean? Like, she was like inches underneath U.S. Olympic team. All right, so you can see there the euro. Let's make that a little bit better looking here. You see the red for the last couple days. You can see that pressure on it. You can see it rolling over there, and this is on the daily. And you can see the same thing here. We're 3 days now in a sell. That pressure's been on it. Again, someone's got to take a profit. There we are. There we go. All right, now let's go over to the cable and see what the cable's up to this morning. There's the cable. Now they're really pressing on that. I mean, that's really getting, and we could see it through, where's it at? Let me just show you just real quick. The difference between the Euro GBP. Right there. Look at the way that thing is spiked up. I mean, it's been pretty organized, like that. There was a decent, pretty move right there. But look at the strength of that. That's going up like 4 lines. This one went up just barely 3. That's been, and this is in a much shorter period of time than this one right here. What's that? 5 and 5, 10. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like 8 days, and and it's so it's been a real push. Something's going on the cable. I guess some economic / political noise. I guess you could call it. And there's not much more that can be said about that in the sense that I have seen, where they were supposed. I thought they were thinking that they were going to raise a half a interest rate, half a percentage point. You know, uh, you know. I thought that might have been something they were looking for. No, that's why it was rising. They really thought this last time they were going to raise it at half, and I don't think they did. I think that was part of the. It's interesting. I was working out in the corn and the vegetables this morning. Hey, Robin, quad motorcycle. That's what I figured it was. It had to be something like that. Um, and I was working out there, and I was thinking about what was I thinking about? I was thinking about I had something really good I wanted to talk about in the webinar. I'm trying to think what it was now. It was interesting. It played right into this about the summer months, about fundamentals and currencies. That's what it was. I was thinking about how much the fundamentals and currencies is so much more predominant than in other areas. I mean that's uh, in relation. There we go. I'm doing a text as I'm talking. There we go. So that's that's a classic right there. That's the fundamental right there. The difference in interest rates and inflation. I mean and I was thinking how much the currencies are so much more still fundamental, as much as they seem to be locked or trapped in some type of range, but they get a chance to move outside their ranges and then they come back inside them. We saw it with the Swiss franc, which is in many ways you start to wonder how less liquid everything is on the planet, and the currencies are like, I want to say, they're not protected by the illiquidity. There's no doubt about it. Even with the central banks being a major participant in the marketplace nowadays and propping up, the whole bit. We saw the U.S. Federal Reserve do those swaps with the Central Bank of Switzerland, and the next thing you know, from 101, here we are at 86, 87. I mean, they do help at times. Problem is that they remove the physical reality of price discovery. That's the problem. And that's what Janos had made the videos. He made a couple videos about this, half a decade back. And, really, after a while, he adjusted them, and then after a while, he gave up on them. He was like, the fundamentals just don't seem to follow anymore. And it's true. But, and I can say, but, if there's anywhere where fundamentals are respected more than anywhere else, it is in the currency market as far as I'm concerned. Also, obviously, the bond market to some extent. I mean, when you see the tales of auctions and things like that, I know I'm getting in deeper into the weeds about this, but when you see certain mechanical things go on inside the bond market, you go, oh, God, what the hell are they doing now? That type of thing. So, that is the challenge of it all. And that's really where we're at. The fundamentals have really become less fundamental. And because they're less fundamental, it really messes with, everything that's going on. And then you go and see something like this where we see the cable these last 4 or 5 days where they were expecting to see that 0.5% increase and they didn't get it. And then they didn't get it. They liquidated it. And you could see that big move. The big move from here was the anticipation that they're going to see that 0.5% interest rate. Hold 1 second. I just have to go answer something. Sorry about that. I'm just running around like a chicken with no head on today. I think I've gotten rid of all the externals and questions and so forth from other places, minus where we should be seeing them right now, and on Ducoscopy. That's really where I'd like to see them. So, all right. From there, we go over to the Swiss, and yes, just as we said, the Federal Reserve comes in and straightens out the problem in December. Look at it; it's trading at 101, and what a great move! There's like about a 16-17% move. It's done now. It's been great, and it's been down in the 80s, 88, 89. We expected that. We figured the best we would see is 87. Maybe it could find a way to break the 86, but we didn't expect to see it to go after the 80 into the 85s. In other words, go to 87 or 86, 88, something like that, and then bounce back up. Here we are breaking the 86s and into the 85s, and that's really impressive. That really is. That is, that's a really healthy thing. There we go. Let's see, what else can we say about the Swiss? Let's put it up on J4X too. Let's see right there. We didn't even do the cable. Let's put the cable on there too. There's the cable. Just 2 days in the sell, whereas I think we're like 4 days. Are we 4 days in the sell on Chicago Quant? Let's see. No, 3 days. Okay. Let's get back to the Swiss. Right there. Yeah, so is that Swiss? Yeah, that's Swiss. That's pretty cool. Let's put it up on J4X. Dollar Swiss. Right there. And it's trying to give its little bounce just like we're trying to give it a little bounce right there. What else can we say about the Swiss? Interesting. That's the old school. That is old school. Everybody would run to the Swiss and the dollar at the same time. Now it's obviously the dollar first and Swiss second. But right now in this particular situation where everybody's saying, okay, they're able to. They know that the dollar is overpriced. We all know the dollar is overpriced. So, we're expecting to see it hang out in the 96s and the 97s on the dollar index. Right now, we're just flirting with the high 99s and mid 99s or low 99s. And we've talked about it. I thought we'd get a dead cat bounce somewheres in here, or at best, or worst, let's say, depending on what side of the position you're on. Somewhere around the 98.80s, 98.90s, something like that. But you can see here, they've already. Let's just go back to the dollar index real quick over here. There it is, right there. Yeah, they've broken back through the century mark the last 2 days. We went back into the buy with a low of 99.22. So that's not bad. And I think this is a dead cat bounce just solely because of the weekly. Now, obviously, it's in a buy right now on a daily basis for the last 3 days. So obviously, don't fight it. Just neutralize yourself. When you have a pairs trade on, you can adjust it to be neutral. You don't have to use the option derivatives and binaries and things like that. Don't take yourself out of a good position and have to pay taxes because you did this, that, and the other thing. So always taking some profit though along the line. We're always comfortable with that. But I would not think this is like a reason to get long dollars for any more than just on a short-term basis. And what I mean by short-term is days. Until we get this weekly into a buy, nah. And even now, look at the fast way underneath, and the slow algorithms on the weekly, not even challenging the manifold itself right there. Alrighty. Now, from there, we drift over to the yen, and we've been looking at the yen. There's the dollar yen up on J4X, and we've been, you can see there, it's a couple days in a buy, and we've been looking at the three different yens and how they're performing. How weak the dollar is versus the other two currencies, and I would imagine the cables catching up quick. So you can see here we've been in a daily buy in that for 4 days now, right there. And J4X has been in there 2 days now, and it's trying to join in. The line warned you right there that action was coming, and we got through the zero line. It has been through the zero line for like 5 days now, and we're only through it for 4. We saw warnings there of volatility coming, change of frequency and so forth, with a red and a green, and then you saw the strength starting to kick out there, and but the weekly is not really doing anything particular. Now let's take a look at probably the strongest part about it, and that would be the euro yen right there, and we'll put the euro yen on Chicago Quant. Euro yen. All right, so there you can see right there, 5 days in a buy there. So they've been, it's losing when it's rising, it's gaining against the euro also. It's been in a daily buy for 4 days now. Let's steal one of these buys. Put it in there. And right there, it went into the buy, which means that the yen is gaining against the. Is that how it works? Yeah. So it's. The yen is losing against the euro again, just like it's doing with the dollar. When it's rising, it's losing against the dollar. And that's how that's working there. So back to the euro yen. And it's 5 days. It's a day even sooner, and gave us a volatility signal there. And you're not even taking the sell. All you've been doing is hedging for the slide from the 158 area down to the 153.5 or 3.75 area, 54ish. It gave us a sell signal, and it broke down. But the weekly, as much as we saw weakness in the fast algorithm, but it still stayed in a weekly buy. So this is not something you're trading for, because here it is right back up into this area again. You just hedge. There's a difference between being long, and then being short, and then being neutral and hedged. There's a difference between all that. When you're an options trader, when you're doing options, binaries, it opens the doorway for you to be able to, how do we say this? Being more nimble, investment-wise. Being more nimble. And what's that mean, being more nimble? It means that if a product takes off on you and you're long it, you're hedged, so that you're not hurt and put out of business because you had a very big position in something and you were naked long. And the same thing on the short side. All right. In other words, the zero-sum factor has been removed since 1976. So trade smartly. Don't trade like it's 1974. Yep. All right. Now, from there, we'll take a look at cable and see how the cable's doing against the yen. Right there. There's the cable. And you can see there, it's cable GB. So it's GBP yen. So that means when it's going down, the cable is actually losing against the yen. And that's exactly what's going on there. It's in a sell for 3 days. Let's steal one of these sells. Just put it there like that. Matter of fact, let's steal that buy. Put that right there. And then let's add another sell. Where's that sell line? Right there. And see what we can find. Let's grab one of these. There's a buy. Let's grab this one right there. There's your sell. No, that's not your sell. That's not your sell. That's not your sell. Okay, so we can put that right back there, like that. And that buy, let's see, how did that go? So where was that at? That buy went there, and your sell didn't occur. We can put that buy back there. So it stayed in a buy throughout this whole move. And then it went into the sell right there. And we were in a weekly buy. And then you can see the weakness breaking down when the fast algo break through the manifold right here. And then you can see now it's joining in. And it's heading towards the weekly sell the way we are with the dollar. But at least, you can see here, the yen is gaining against the cable still. It's still gaining against it. So the cable now has moved into the third position compared to the dollar, whereas the dollar before was the worst of the three major currencies. Now it's moving into second position. Matter of fact, where is cable? Let's go back to cable real quick. Yeah, there it is. So the cable is losing against the dollar. The dollar is definitely much stronger right now against it, whereas in the euro, nowhere near the slide. Look at that. It's kind of almost like a plateau. So the dollar seeing some strength, which makes sense. Someone's got to take some profits sometime. All right. From there, we slide over to the Turkish lira again, and we saw it a few minutes ago, and that was that it didn't make a new all-time high today. And yesterday's all-time high now is 31.57.7. So that's kind of nice, in the sense that they haven't, 24 hours they haven't gone to a new all-time high. It's such a tough situation. I'm not sure if there's words that I can describe how tough a situation it is. I'm trying to figure out. You can see here it's trying to push into the sell, but it's pretty much unchanged for today. Weekly's not looking down whatsoever. You can't even see the green line at this point. You do see the fast manifold, or the fast algorithm breaking the manifold, but that's it. It's not going through a zero line. There's the zero line. Look how far away it is. So there's not much you can say about any of that. I mean, wow. That's really great times, when it comes to great inflation. I guess this must be the era of great inflation in Turkey. Great inflation. I mean, we've seen some of those numbers. 57.77 yesterday when we looked up inflation in Turkey. The central bank's interest rate is 15.5%. And you got to figure, wow, are they giving away puts for people to hold on to that? That's what they promised to do a year ago in January. So that's in other words, it's 18 months ago they promised to give puts to people who bought the currency. So they're probably doing that. They were in Saudi Arabia yesterday. Monday they were in Saudi Arabia. The president, former Prime Minister Erdogan, was doing his thing, and his thing is to take the Turkish lira from 1 to now 31 in euros. I don't know how else you can say it. That's definitely not the thing people wanted, I'm sure, but maybe it was just a bad policy that he was hoping it would be a good policy. That's that's the way it goes sometimes. Let's hope he learns, and we'll know when he learns because we'll see the Turkish lira go back down to say 20 or 18 or 15 and stay there. But right now, it keeps on finding ways to go higher. So obviously the policies that he's using, got to rethink those. Got to rethink them. All right. Now from there, we go over to what we call the king brick, or the king peso. And that is the Mexican peso. It's the Mexican peso. You can see here it's trying to flirt with a daily buy today, right there. Let's put it up on J4X. And that is the Mexican peso, which is, it is the top brick in the world. Oh, we did see Mr. Putin has relinquished, and he will not show up in South Africa and force the government to arrest him. Thank goodness of that. It would, if he didn't recognize that, I mean, he would really, really, really be having mental problems. I mean, really, 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 really. I mean, how else can you look at it? The guy does, there's arrest warrants for him in certain countries, so you don't go to that country and throw it in their face, So we're real glad to see that. Now, it's a BRIC meeting. That's why we're bringing it up. The BRICS are getting together to discuss things, and he can zoom in. No problem. No harm, no foul. Now, we'll keep an eye on this conference because we want to see if Mexico shows up. We're looking for more and more proof that Mexico is not just mouthing it that it wants to be part of the BRICS, but if it shows up, it's going to be the number one BRIC. I mean, really. I mean, really, the Mexican peso is the most powerful of all the of the BRICS, and then we go over to let's go over to the second one, and that's the South African rand. Let's put that up on the screen. Matter of fact, what we're going to do is we're going to put gold up on the J4X right there, and then you see how gold has been marching up in the way, and we'll put the South African rand up on Chicago Quant. And you can see that same time period right here. Let's widen that out so it looks a lot alike, that type of thing. And then what we'll do is we'll tighten this up a little bit, and you'll see that little bouncy thing, And so as the South African rand, our gold has been roaring up from basically the 1900 area. We're now almost touching the 2000 area. We're at 1990 and change, almost $100. And you can see the South African rand has gone from the 19 and a quarter area, 1920 area, was that 1915 area? There it is. Down to the 1785 area, which means it's gaining against the dollar. So that's how that works. Bingo, 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 bango. All right, now from there, we slide over to the Canadian. And there is Canadian. And it's been on a nice slope sliding down, had a little correction in here, and then right back down again. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use J4X, and we'll show you crude oil. Right there. There's light sweet crude. And as crude goes up in price, not evenly, but, over since, mid-June, you see here, in mid-June, it's been going down and gaining against the dollar. They had a little correction thing in there. And then, again, gaining against the dollar. And it's still, this last 3 days, it's trying to gain against the dollar. And as you can see here, right there, we're looking at the September contract. August is pretty much done now. And there's September. And September roared up yesterday into almost 76. 76.07. Today it's playing right underneath the 76 area at 75.78, and you can see we're in a daily buy for 1 day, and it's a little bit higher, and it went into the buy on a down day, which I always like. I would love that. That's always a winner chicken dinner type of thing. And then when it goes into a daily buy on a down day, and then you have the weekly being in a weekly buy for 4 solid weeks. Then we drift over to the back month. We're just going to do this since we're at the end of the road here anyway. So we'll go into the oil market and look at the rest and stop paying attention to the CAD, which we'll put up on J4X just real quick there, like a bunny. There it is. And you can see it's been going down as crude oil is going up. So from there, we're going to throw Brent up on the screen. There's Brent. Brent topped out a little bit up towards the 82s and now is hovering around just underneath 80. And you can see here September oil trading at 75.80, 75.79, and then we go and look at the back month of November of crude oil, and you can see 75.89, and you're talking about 75.38. There's a 40, basically a 40-cent premium on the front month. So they're still reaching for the delivery of it, just like they did with with the September, was it September? No, the August contract, which just basically has gone out. So let me just double check. But yeah, the August contract. Let's see right there. Okay, they've moved the August contract is still trading, but it's trading very lethargically. So it has moved up 30 cents this morning. It's up plus 40 right now, but this is probably the last day for it, and there are times where there's no trades for like the back month can move and it doesn't move at all. Just sits there like a statue. So they're basically at the end of the road, and that's why we've switched now to the September contract. And then we go over to natural gas. Let's see what nat gas is looking like right there. And there's natural gas. And you can see the last couple days it's been lifting its little head up, trying to go, and you can see the same thing right here with the blue line getting beyond the dashed line. And then from there, let's put it over up on Chicano Quant, and there it is right there, 3 days in a daily buy, flirting constantly now with that weekly sell. We got the fast trying to move up, we got the slow trying to move down. It's going to be very, very interesting if they switch places. We'll see. It's been in a weekly buy since the $2.40 some odd cent, 245, 250 area. It's been in that buy right around in here on a weekly basis. So, the action we're seeing, to be exact, it was right there. It went into the weekly buy, right on that one at 240 and change, 241, 243, something like that, 242. And we had a nice run for about 8 days or 7 days. It ran up to 280, or was it 290 something? 293. It was an interesting run. And it slid into the old sell right there. And then over here you can see that's the same product. That's the American contract. It's trading at $2.74 offer with a $2.73.8 bid. Now it's a 42 bid with a 45 offer. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of water. So that's the action we're seeing in the energy sector. To finish off the energy sector, what we will do is we will drift over to, where is it at? Right there. We will drift over to Spain and take a look at the energy company down in Spain. There she blows, right there. Trading at 27 now. Ow. Boy, it ran down into the low 25s. We were like, yay, finally, summer months. Then obviously, those wind turbines and everything else, I don't know what you want to call it, but in the end result is that I hate when they call it renewable energy. I don't think you have renewable energy. Kinetic energy is potential. There's potential kinetic energy. There's kinetic energy. But renewable energy? That would be like atomic. Aren't they against atomic? I'm a little confused by that. When they call it renewable. I've never seen one in a physics book that calls it renewable. Now, there's no doubt that atomic energy has a characteristic like that. Because you're kind of taking from an atom and squeezing some potential energy out of it, and I guess you could fake it in your head thinking it's renewable, but it's really not. It's gone, or it's been converted into another form of energy. So you would think that they would call it like windmills and what's the other things that you like to play with, solar collectors, as convertible energy, converting energy. It takes fossil fuels to do both. So I don't know. The movement is very strange. It's a very spiritual, religious thing more than it is anything to do with science. It always confuses me. But there is no such thing as renewable energy. You won't find it in a physics book anywhere. If you do, it's because it's the name of the person that owns it. Renew. Like the library. Renew your book. Renew your energy book. Yeah. All right. From there, we jump over to gold. Right there. There's gold on Chicago Quant. Had made another high over the last 2 days. And what did it touch there today? It went up to 1989.8 on the futures contract. Interesting. And let's see what it looks like on J4X. Right there. There we go. So, what else can we say about that? I guess that's about it. There we go. Alrighty. Now, from there, what else can we say about any of these things here? August gold, they're showing over there, same thing, 1987.38. That's the spot. This is the August contract, which is getting very, very close to expiring, I imagine. Let's just take a quick look and see what the open interest looks like on that product. And we go to the gold contract, and the answer to that question is, that's still, oh, wait a minute. Let's move that over. Open interest is a little under now the December contract. It's 196,000 contracts versus 246,000 on December. Volume has drifted down to 92,000 a day. And the thing is that the December contract has 140. Oh, wait a minute. What is that? It's still dominant. Okay, yeah. So there's only 16,400 trades in the December contract, but there's 92,000 in the August contract. So let me see, where are we at? I would imagine this will we'll start to see this drift in about another week, like the first or second day of August, that type of thing. And where are we at? The 20th. So we have 11 days to the end of the month. So more like 2 weeks from now. That's probably the way it's going to play out. There we are. Now, brown cow, let's jump over to, where do we jump over to? We'll find something here. Let's go look at silver. And there it is. There's September silver, slowly creeping its way up. It has a couple jumps, and it does this, that, and the other thing. It's kind of cool, And so, Silverado. September silver looking pretty good there. Been kind of, soft and steady. It's been in a buy for like 12, 13 days. Not bad, Where that is right there. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's 9 right there. 1, 2, 3. That's 12. That's 13. That's 14. 14 days now in a daily buy. It's been in the weekly buy, with the fast and the slow joining in together right before the spike there the day before. It was right around in there. So that's really cool. Almost made it the week before there. It was kind of interesting. I really had my doubts that they could get this thing to go, but they did. I got texts from family members telling me that it's going to bottom, and I was like, yeah, but we're in a weekly sell. Look at gold. I mean, gold is still having its problems getting into the weekly buy. This is the first week. The fast got in there last week, and no doubt it's jumped up. But we can't even get through 2,000. Now we know that the back months are so much stronger. That's the weird thing about it all. The back months are way more stronger. They reflect what the population believes gold should be. I guess that's the best way to describe it. We know that gold should be much more valuable than what it is at the exchange. We know that. But there's not much that can be done about it, that's for sure. All right, now from there, What else can we say about the metals? Okay, so from there, we went from silver to gold again, and let's go back to copper. Let's see what Mr. and Mrs. Copper look like. Right there. Oh, a little froggy in the throat. You see it's trying to get into the daily buy there at the moment. Not bad. The weekly is trying to get into the weekly sell, but the fast is above. You can see it's at the 278 area, and the green, the slow, is at minus 0.0076. So. And then let's put it up on J4X. There it is right there. And you see, the pressure is on it. It's trying to lift up too, just like we are right there. We're watching the green, the blue line, seeing if it'll pop through the dash line there. And same thing here. We're waiting for this to close here today. All right. Last but not least, we'll go take a look at Mr. and Mrs. Platinum. I guess we should save this, really, shouldn't we? Yeah, let's do this. Let's save the copper. Let's store that. Yep. And then at the same time, let's take a look at Platinum right there. And Platinum is trying to break down again. It's like, what? What? What do you mean you're breaking down? I thought you're going to close in a weekly buy. I thought you were going to lead us to the promised land of higher gold. But no. It's starting to break down again. We're not happy about that, that's for sure. No, we were definitely not happy about that. And we're real disappointed because we all know. We see the inflation. We go to the stores. We fill the machines up with fuel. We see all that. And, no doubt that we've always said, ever since 1976, that the calls and the puts can help. In those days, there was just calls. And then a couple years later, year and a half later, they finally did the puts. And you can't even believe the political spin on that back then. They said it would destroy the American economy if you created puts. They really believed that for like a year and a half. But then they straightened that out. But it does make it easier for money managers to hedge themselves without having to liquidate their assets. And back in the old days, before 1976, they would, if you're a fund manager, you had to liquidate a percentage of your stocks and buy bonds and buy gold, that type of thing, to adjust for the inflation. And it was definitely a competitive race between the bonds and the gold. What to do? Short-term interest rates, like 60-day, 90-day things, and then at the same time you're buying gold, and you might have had 2.5% in your portfolio, and next thing you know, you have 3.5% or 4% or 5% of gold. Matter of fact, not to take us off course on this subject, but that is the opinion. Once they finally get the cryptos working right and get the snake oil salesmen out of them, and they get the government agencies to accept them and not torture the poor investors in them, that there'll be a big purchase. The funds will purchase cryptos like they purchase metals. They'll put it to the side, and it'll be like 1.5% or 2% of a portfolio. And then when there's a political turmoil, there may be, they may move into like the 3 or 3.5% area, that type of thing. So, all right, traders, we're out of here. It's been another fun-filled day. Not many questions, which is kind of sad. We've got to come up with a what do we got to come up with? Let's see what we can come up with here. What title should we use for today? That's the biggest question of all. What would be the title today? Cancel. And minimize. And let's go find a title and put that in. And then we'll say goodbye and sing our way out of this whole situation. And I don't see any questions coming in. I'm giving everybody a chance, but no one seems to care. So, anyway, happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Catch you tomorrow. It'll be Thursday. No, today's Thursday. Tomorrow will be Friday. Hooray for us.